High creatinine is not just a number on your lab test, it's the silent alarm that your kidneys are in danger. And here's the shocking part. The very foods you've trusted for decades, the milk, the whole grains, even the bananas, could be quietly driving that number higher every single day. No pain, no symptoms, just a slow and silent breakdown happening inside your body while you still believe you're eating healthy. I'm Dr. Johnny, and today I'm going to reveal why the golden rules of nutrition can betray you once your kidneys begin to weaken. Because creatinine doesn't lie, it rises when your kidneys can no longer keep up. And once that number climbs too far, dialysis and heart complications aren't just possibilities. They're waiting at the door. So let me ask you, are whole grains truly the healthy choice you think they are? Or could they be the hidden reason your creatinine keeps creeping higher? Drop a yes or no in the comments. And stay with me, because we're about to uncover the 5 foods that secretly harm your kidneys and the 5 unexpected heroes that can bring your creatinine back under control. They told you milk was the ticket to strong bones. They told you yogurt was your gut's best friend. And they told you cheese was nature's perfect snack. But here's the harsh reality for aging kidneys. Dairy is not a friend, it's a hidden trap. Because inside every glass of milk, every slice of cheese, is a concentrated dose of phosphorus and potassium. When your kidneys are strong, they filter it easily. But when your creatinine is high, that mineral load becomes a flood, drowning your already struggling filters. And the damage doesn't stop at the kidneys. High phosphorus hijacks your hormones, stealing calcium straight from your bones. That calcium then teams up with phosphorus in your blood, forming crystals that embed inside your arteries. Imagine your flexible blood vessels slowly turning into cement pipes. This silent process, vascular calcification, sets the stage for heart attacks and strokes, all while you thought you were protecting your health with just a little milk. Here's the shocking math. 1 single cup of milk has over 220 milligrams of phosphorus. For someone with kidney disease, that could wipe out nearly a quarter of the entire daily safe limit. It's not about demonizing dairy, it's about understanding the numbers and respecting your body's limits. Clinical guidelines now recommend reducing dairy intake to half a cup or less per day if your labs are already showing high creatinine. And for cheese lovers, softer varieties like ricotta or cream cheese are safer, but only in very small amounts. Knowledge, not fear, is your weapon. By choosing wisely, you take back control from a food industry that still insists dairy is essential. Your kidneys don't need slogans, they need relief. And as you'll see, it's not just dairy. Another everyday comfort food, one you probably eat every single day, can push your potassium sky high and put your heart at risk. Potatoes and bananas, 2 of the most beloved comfort foods in America, they're cheap, filling, and for decades we've been told they're nature's perfect energy. But for kidneys under stress, these familiar heroes can turn into silent killers. Why? Because they're overloaded with one mineral your body needs in small amounts, but that your kidneys can't handle in excess potassium. 1 medium banana has over 420 milligrams of potassium. 1 potato, nearly double that. If your doctor has limited you to just 2,000 milligrams a day, 1 potato alone can blow through half of your allowance. Here's the dangerous truth when potassium builds up in your blood. Your heart is the first organ to pay the price. It can short-circuit the very electricity that keeps it beating. Doctors call this hyperkalemia. For you, it could mean skipped beats, sudden chest pain, or even the heart stopping altogether with no warning. A major study in the American Heart Association journal confirmed it. CKD patients with high potassium had up to 32% more heart attacks, strokes, and even a 59% higher chance of dangerous arrhythmias in the hospital. That's not just numbers, that's life and death. But here's the hope. You don't always have to say goodbye to these foods. Renal dietitians use a simple trick called leaching. Peel your potatoes, slice them thin, soak them in warm water for a few hours, and you can cut their potassium by as much as 75%. It's an extra step, yes, but one that lets you enjoy comfort foods without fear. So now you see the pattern. Dairy sneaks in too much phosphorus. Potatoes and bananas overload you with potassium, but minerals aren't the only hidden threat. Even foods stamped as healthy by every nutrition label in the store can secretly work against aging kidneys. And the next culprit may surprise you, because it's a food group Americans are told to eat every single day: whole grains, brown bread, brown rice, oatmeal. They've been sold to us as the smarter choice, the upgrade from white bread and white rice. And for most people, that's true. But here's the catch for kidneys already struggling with high creatinine. Whole grains can quietly become a heavy burden. The reason isn't just the fiber, it's the hidden load of phosphorus and potassium packed into the bran and germ. Here's what most people don't know. Your body absorbs nearly 100% of the phosphate additives in processed food. But in plants, phosphorus is locked up in something called phytate, which means only 30–50% gets absorbed. Sounds safer. Right, but when you add up multiple servings a day, brown bread at breakfast, oatmeal mid-morning, brown rice at dinner, that mineral load still overwhelms weakened kidneys. One slice of whole wheat bread carries almost 3 times the phosphorus of white bread. Multiply that by 2 or 3 slices, and you can see how even healthy eating starts to backfire. Doctors at the National Kidney Foundation and Mayo Clinic often advise late-stage CKD patients to temporarily swap whole grains for refined ones. Not because white bread is better, but because it's lighter on the kidneys. It's about survival, not perfection. Whole grains aren't evil. They're just too heavy for kidneys that can no longer carry the weight. So think about it. Dairy loads you with phosphorus, bananas and potatoes drown you in potassium, and whole grains pile on both at once. And yet, there's one category that doesn't just stress your kidneys, it actively attacks them like a chemical weapon, designed in a factory, not grown in nature, and it's probably sitting in your fridge right now. That slice of bacon on your breakfast plate, the ham in your sandwich, the sausage sizzling on the grill. These aren't just foods. For your kidneys, they're weapons of mass destruction. Processed meats are one of the most aggressive enemies you can put in your body. Why? Because they attack from 2 directions at once. First, the sodium. One serving of deli ham can carry over 1,200 milligrams, half your entire daily limit, in just a few bites. That sodium doesn't just raise your blood pressure, it pounds your kidneys like a hammer, forcing already weakened filters to push harder and harder. And then comes the phosphorus. Not the natural kind locked in plants, but inorganic phosphate additives, the most dangerous form. Your body absorbs nearly every milligram, and when that phosphorus floods your blood, it hardens your arteries like quick-drying cement. The result, a deadly combination of high blood pressure and vascular calcification, turning flexible vessels into brittle tubes ready to snap under stress. The cruelest part is that it doesn't take much. A few slices of bacon, a hot dog at a cookout, a small portion of sausage, and you've already blown past safe levels. And don't be fooled by the marketing. Words like cured, smoked, or nitrate-free are still red flags. When you're battling high creatinine, there is no safe margin with processed meats. The only defense is a clean break. Cut them out. All of them. So now you know the villains, the 4 everyday foods that quietly hijack your kidneys and drive creatinine higher. But every story of survival has 2 sides. Once you clear out the enemies, you need to bring in allies. And that's where the real hope begins. Because some of the most humble foods sitting in your kitchen right now can act like medicine, protecting your kidneys and even helping to lower creatinine naturally. Let's meet the first hero. Garlic and onions. They're not exotic, they're not expensive, and yet they're 2 of the most powerful allies your kidneys will ever have. Let's start with the obvious flavor. When your doctor says cut the salt, the first thing people fear is bland, tasteless food. But garlic and onions flip that script. With almost no potassium or phosphorus, they pack massive flavor without burdening your kidneys. One medium onion has just 146 milligrams of potassium, 3 cloves of garlic, barely 36. That's nothing, and it means you can finally season your food without fear. But their real magic isn't in taste, it's in chemistry. Onions are loaded with quercetin, a potent antioxidant proven to lower blood pressure and protect delicate blood vessels. Garlic brings allicin, a compound so powerful that studies show it can rival prescription drugs in protecting kidney function. Imagine sautéed onions releasing their sweetness, or roasted garlic melting into a creamy spread. These aren't just culinary tricks. They're kidney-safe medicine disguised as comfort food. That's the difference between surviving on restriction and thriving with wisdom, using flavor as therapy, not punishment. And it's this shift, choosing food that fights for you instead of against you, that changes everything. Because once you realize that taste and kidney health can live on the same plate, you'll never see your diet the same way again. And this is just the beginning. Flavor is step one. But now let's talk about a liquid medicine hiding in plain sight. One you probably already have in your pantry. It's golden. It's rich. And when used right, it shields your kidneys at a cellular level. I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil, EVO for short. It's not just a cooking oil, it's liquid medicine. And the secret is in those two little words, extra virgin. When you see that label, you're getting oil pressed from real olives, packed with polyphenols, tiny plant compounds that fight inflammation and oxidative stress at the cellular level. That's huge, see, because chronic inflammation is the silent engine driving kidney decline. Shut it down, and you give your kidneys room to breathe, heal, and protect themselves. Clinical studies prove it. CKD patients who added just a few spoonfuls of high polyphenol EVO to their daily diet saw lower inflammation, improved cholesterol, and even healthier kidney function markers in under 3 months. That's not a supplement, not a pill that's simply using food as medicine. And the best part, olive oil contains virtually no potassium, no phosphorus, and no sodium. It gives you pure protection without the mineral overload that other fats can sneak in. So how do you use it? Keep it simple. Drizzle it raw over salads, finish cooked vegetables with a splash, or use it to dress up that crisp apple snack. EVO works best when it's not scorched on high heat, so think of it less like frying oil and more like a finishing touch, a shield for your body hidden in golden drops. And here's the bigger picture with garlic, onions, and EVO. You now have flavor, power, and protection on the same plate. But protection doesn't stop with oils and spices. Sometimes the strongest kidney ally is hiding in something so familiar you almost throw it away every day. It's sweet, it's crunchy, and its true healing power lives in its peel. Yes, I'm talking about the humble apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? But here's the twist most people miss for your kidneys. The real superpower of an apple isn't in the juicy flesh, it's in the peel. That thin layer you're so used to tossing in the trash is loaded with pectin, a soluble fiber that acts like a natural dialysis machine for your gut. Instead of waiting for toxins like indoxyl sulfate and PCS to enter your blood and raise creatinine, pectin binds to them in your intestines, trapping them and escorting them safely out of your body. Think about that for a second. Something as ordinary as an apple peel can intercept toxins before they ever touch your kidneys. And it gets better. A medium apple with skin has less than 200 milligrams of potassium, about 20 milligrams of phosphorus, and nearly 5 grams of fiber. That's well within kidney-safe limits while delivering a protective punch your lab results will thank you for. Science backs this up. A 2025 meta-analysis confirmed that diets high in pectin-rich foods help lower toxin buildup in CKD patients and may support healthier creatinine levels over time. So instead of peeling your apple, wash it thoroughly and eat it whole. Every bite is a simple act of defense, sweet, crunchy, effortless medicine straight from nature. And here's where it gets exciting. Garlic and onions gave you flavor. Olive oil gave you protection. Apples gave you detox power. But the kidneys don't just need cleansing, they need reinforcements for their hardest battles. And the most powerful reinforcements come from the sea, in the form of healthy fats that fight inflammation at its root. Which is why your next ally is fatty fish. Fish is one of the most confusing foods for anyone with kidney problems. One day it's praised as a superfood, the next it's condemned as dangerous. So let's set the record straight. Fatty fish, the kind swimming in cold waters, are not your enemy. In fact, they carry one of the most powerful tools for lowering creatinine and protecting your heart: omega-3 fatty acids. Here's what makes omega-3s different. Most anti-inflammatory compounds are like firefighters. They show up, spray the flames, and walk away. Omega-3s go further. They send in the cleanup crew, molecules called SPMs, that repair the damage, rebuild cells, and actually end the inflammation. That's critical because chronic inflammation is what drives kidney scarring and rising creatinine. The research is staggering. A meta-analysis found that dialysis patients who consumed omega-3s had a 55% lower risk of dying from heart complications. In other studies, omega-3s reduced the risk of kidney disease progressing to total failure by up to 70%. That's not hype. That's peer-reviewed science. So, which fish should you eat? Remember this acronym: smashed salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. These smaller, cold-water fish give you omega-3s with very little mercury, making them safe and powerful allies for your kidneys. A few servings a week can make a measurable difference, not just in your lab results, but in how you feel every day. And here's the big shift: you've now armed your kidneys with flavor from garlic and onions, cellular protection from olive oil, detox power from apples, and healing fats from fatty fish. But there's still one final hero, and it may be the most surprising of all. Because sometimes, the most powerful medicine isn't exotic or expensive. It's a humble vegetable that costs pennies, but flips on your body's own genetic defense system. Let's talk about cabbage. Cabbage. It doesn't look like a miracle food. It's cheap, common, sitting quietly in the produce aisle while trendier superfoods steal the spotlight. But here's the truth: when it comes to protecting your kidneys and lowering creatinine, cabbage and other cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and broccoli are champions hiding in plain sight. What makes them so powerful isn't just their low potassium and phosphorus content, though that already makes them safe. The secret weapon is a compound called sulforaphane. Unlike ordinary antioxidants that sacrifice themselves to neutralize one threat, sulforaphane flips a genetic switch called NRF2. That switch activates hundreds of protective enzymes inside your cells, essentially arming your kidneys with their own built-in defense army. And this isn't just theory. A 2024 clinical trial gave non-dialysis CKD patients 400 micrograms of sulforaphane for 1 month. The results were clear: NRF2 was activated, blood markers improved, and kidney resilience increased measurably. Imagine that: a humble plate of steamed cabbage or roasted cauliflower actually strengthening your body's genetic defenses against creatinine overload. Here's the beauty: cabbage isn't rare, it isn't expensive, and it isn't complicated. Add it to soups, stir-fries, or salads a few times a week, and you're not just eating vegetables, you're training your kidneys to fight back. That's why cabbage earns the crown as the #1 kidney hero. And now, step back for a moment. We've exposed the villains: dairy, bananas, potatoes, whole grains, and processed meats. We've celebrated the heroes: garlic and onions, olive oil, apples, fatty fish, and cabbage. But the story doesn't end here. Because the real power lies not just in knowing the list, it lies in how you use it, day after day, meal after meal, to reclaim control over your health. So let's bring it all together in a conclusion you can carry into your very next bite. So here's the truth we've uncovered together: protecting your kidneys isn't about fear or endless restriction. It's about wisdom. By removing the foods that quietly raise creatinine and embracing the heroes that nourish and protect. You're giving your body a chance to heal, to feel stronger, and to stay independent for years to come. But remember, the kidney health is personal. Everyone's labs, stage of disease, and overall health picture are different. That's why it's so important to share these insights with your doctor or renal dietitian. Let them help you adapt these principles in a way that's safe and tailored for you. And I want you to know this, you are not alone on this journey. Thousands of people are fighting the same silent battles, and every small step you take matters. Even something as simple as swapping processed meats for garlic and olive oil, or adding cabbage to your weekly meals, can ripple forward into real, lasting change. If you found this video helpful, save it so you can come back anytime when you need a reminder. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell icon, because every week we bring you the latest science-based tips to care for your kidneys and your overall health. The more you learn, the more power you have to protect yourself. Stay informed, stay consistent, and above all, stay hopeful, because the choices you make today are the foundation for the healthier, stronger tomorrow you deserve.